All right, we're here with Li Jun, founder of Ontology for Consensus 2021. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here, talk about ontology and what kinds of interesting things we are doing right now.
Awesome. So look, the last year in blockchain has been really interesting, right? Because one, we had the pandemic, and then two, this industry has grown so much over the last year. And I think with a lot of people coming into the industry, they hear about Bitcoin or Ethereum, or even Polkadot these days. And every blockchain kind of has its own, let's call it specialty. Right. For Ethereum, for example, it's more like a sandbox where you can build whatever you want. Right. Why was it so important for Ontology to focus on identity instead?
Yeah. For the big picture, you will say currently most situation and scenarios is focused on digital assets. But blockchain is actually kind of public ledger.
Right.
Digital assets owning kinds of information in decentralized world. But in the future, when we link to the real world, more kinds of information will come. For example, identity, data, contract, and the real asset, legal system. All those information is unlike the digital assets owning. They need a lot of different mechanism, performance, and public ledger focus on specific information.
Right.
So that's why Ontology focus on another one.
Yeah, I mean, the specific information part is very interesting. So if I understand this correctly, the majority of blockchain right now is focused on assets. Right, because it's money essentially.
Yeah, almost only one scenario is digital assets scenario right now.
But I think with Ontology, your idea was to kind of prepare the blockchain for almost the future then, right? As more of the world gets on the blockchain, that's kind of what Ontology is preparing for.
Yes, Ontology is also is public blockchain ledger, also can support digital assets. But the difference is Ontology's design, the performance and the mechanism is more focused on decentralized identity and decentralized data. That means we think when we link to the real world and the real assets, the mainstream business scenario, the identity, data, and even different legal mechanism to the decentralized world is important. Ontology focus on.
I mean, all those mechanisms are incredibly important. You mentioned this concept of decentralized identity. Right. So I think when most people think about their identity, they think of like their passport or their driver's license. What does decentralized identity mean to you?
Yeah, actually, identity is not only just to mention the passport or ID card. It's actually all kinds of, you have multiple parts, even one individual, right? You have your background, education background, work experience, and even your daily life. Also, you have a different interesting, different habit, a lot of information for you. The identity means, the future identity, decentralized identity means you can control all kinds of data from your personal data in different angles. Some scenario, you just use your nationality to prove yourself. Some scenario, you maybe need your experience, even education. That means you can control everything, but no one single centralized service can provide all kinds of scenario for you, but you can control.
That's very interesting. Essentially what Ontology is trying to do is to give control of data back to the people in the form of identity. Right. So for example, your CV is a part of your identity. That's very interesting. How far along has Ontology been working on this?
Ontology already focused on this part more than 4 years actually, before the preparation to launch the public blockchain. And today, we think the basic technology preparation already be ready to support most cases. But to be honest, currently decentralized identity and decentralized data in whole industry still in very early stage because they need more adoption in the real scenarios, especially the mainstream scenarios, not only crypto world. So it's quite a big challenge because they reform most business model right now.
So you also mentioned decentralized data. What is the difference between decentralized identity and decentralized data? Because how you just described identity, is essentially broken down, and at the very bottom is data. Right? Your identity is a collection of your data. So are those two similar?
Identity is more like a connector or index. That means a link to mapping to the different data source. Because all the data, all kinds of data, will finally link to a specific entity or identity, right? And but identity will become the entity's link or the mapping to manage all the data. So those kind of two protocol will works very closely to support most scenario for cooperation.
So decentralized identity it refers to an entity which is usually a person.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas decentralized data can apply to everything.
Yeah.
But the protocols are similar.
Yeah, protocol is similar, and they will just mention is linked very closely. It's actually have become the complex solution for decentralized cooperation between individuals, even between organizations. In the future, maybe between the governments and the countries.
Right.
They need those kind of mechanism to support it.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Why do you think the industry has not focused on decentralized identity or data yet, and has instead focused primarily on assets?
Because currently data is more like kind of assets. They will bring the real profits for most companies. So that means the companies, even the data from individual or from outside, from the external partners, they still, the centralized service companies, they still think, okay, the data is my assets. I will use the data to make money or give my own value for myself. So it's difficult to control for everyone. Another side is technology in centralized world still not be ready. Just you maybe have the ownership for your data in Facebook, in Google, or different social network, but you have currently still have no tool to control your data, right? It's difficult. No those kind of tool for you. You only can use Facebook application, Google application to manage your data. You cannot have another single application for you. That means blockchain is important potential technology to bring the tools to individuals.
Yeah, to bring the tools to individuals, I think is important because my understanding is my Facebook data right now is stored on a centralized server.
Yeah.
Right, that more or less Facebook controls.
Yeah.
I can access it, but I don't own it.
Yeah.
Right, so that relationship is almost gonna get inversed with Ontology, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's I will own the data and Facebook will access it.
Yeah.
Right, it will kind of switch.
Yeah. Sometimes even Facebook and you can be a co-owner for your data. That not means you have to move the data to another decentralized storage. That is, you still can put your data to one or multiple centralized storage service. But differences is you can control the data. That means you can authenticate the data to another third-party service, maybe the financial institution, maybe the insurance company. Without any Facebook, they cannot agree or disagree. That is, you can control that.
Right, it's kind of my control.
Yeah, currently you only can access when Facebook's application. Without that, you can do nothing, right?
Right.
So that is different.
Yeah, I guess this ties all the way back to what we originally said with identity, and just our concept of identity is going to change over the next 10 years, 50 years, right?
Yeah.
And I know we have a video prepared for this. Yeah. So let's hit the video on decode identity.
Okay. Yeah.
Your identity is what makes you, well, you. Your height, your name, and your date of birth are all pieces of information that make up who you are, or as we call it, your identity. But with the internet, the one you're using to watch this video right now, all that information is likely stored in a centralized server. And even though laws like GDPR are aimed to protect your data and identity, shouldn't you be the one who has complete control over it?
Although regulations like GDPR will help in the moment, our identity will continue to grow in volume and evolve in complexity, making it even more scattered among different system silos and out of our control.
But with a decentralized identity, such as ONT ID, the information is saved as hundreds of different copies, each stored in a decentralized manner on the Ontology blockchain. This, in turn, allows vendors to only access the information that is needed, such as whether or not a transaction payment got approved, and keeps the other pieces of your identity safe and protected. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please subscribe below and make sure to hit the little bell button to get notifications on how decentralized identity can ensure that your identity and you are ultimately protected.
All right, we're back with Li Jun, founder of Ontology at Consensus 2021. Building off this video that we just saw, one of the other core features I know that is developing at Ontology right now is the OScore. Right? Which is an on-chain credit summation of your on-chain activities.
OScore is one of kind of real case for the decentralized identity and the data. For example, you have a lot of credit information off-chain, maybe your education background, your assets, and in bank account, etc. But on-chain, you still have a lot of different behavior be there. For example, your digital assets account and how many crypto you have, and what kind of behaviors in different DeFi application and different decentralized application you have. So all those information will build new kinds of credit score for you. Sometimes if you don't want people to know your real identity, your account, for example, your Ethereum account, Ontology account, address, or even Bitcoin account can become kind of identity. You can have those kind of credit information for those accounts.
So if I understand this correctly, your OScore is essentially a form of decentralized identity that you can use on-chain because you don't need to give your name or anything. Your credit score symbols you, essentially, right?
That means the account also have a credit information or score. The account also will be variable account and different with another account. If you have a high reputation, higher credit score, and you can in different decentralized application to use that.
So credit in the traditional finance world is everywhere. Right. The United States has an entire credit scoring system, etc. But in crypto, it doesn't really exist yet. And with the emergence of decentralized finance or DeFi last year, it's arguably the biggest driving force in the entire industry right now. And having credit be a part of DeFi, I think is not just necessary. It's actually happening already with what you guys are doing with Wing, I believe.
So Wing Finance is also a lending platform, but they have a lot of different innovation, I can say that, in the lending or DeFi platform. One is important is they have import just I mentioned, the credit-based information.
So they have an inclusive pool, which was launched in December. This is the first credit-based liquidity pool, right? Lending pool. That
means you needn't to put a lot of money, just a correction, you need to have a 150% for lending, right?
It allows you to under collateralize, right? And borrow.
You can use your money more smart with your credit information, especially on-chain credit information. And in the time, you still not to link to the real identity. You just use your on-chain information enough. But it's okay.
I was gonna say, so OScore in many ways is a first real application use of decentralized identity in the world of DeFi.
And also OScore's mechanism is still very flexible. That means in the future, if you want to support the traditional finance situation, you still can link to your other kind of off-chain information with yourself, even your real identity, the nationality or other information. But the privacy is still totally controlled by yourself. So that means very flexible, decentralized way to reaffirm credit information scenario.
It's interesting. Why is credit such a big part of decentralized finance in your mind? It's DeFi, it's been around for about a year now. We're gonna have Ethereum layer 2 that's gonna come soon. But why is credit so important to what Wing is doing?
If you compare, especially for lending, just to mention, you put a lot of Bitcoin and to lend other Ethereum. That means not means you have no money. You just want another kind of money. But if you review today's traditional financial scenarios, most people I have no money. I want to get money from bank, from a financial institution to support the things we want to do, right? But DeFi cannot do that. That means you just change the assets temporarily, but not a real finance service. If you do want a real finance service, credit information is important things.
Because it adds a layer of liquidity that doesn't exist right now, right? You know, and I would assume then that what the next step would be is to combine something like OScore with more traditional assets on chain, right? For example, I know Wing is looking at real estate assets, bonds, and these things like that.
Yeah, Wing just launched a new pool called Any Pool. Any Pool means you can push all kinds of assets to lend money in your better platform. Any said assets means you have a lot of real assets. I mean the off-chain assets, not only totally crypto or digitalized. That will link to your real information off-chain, maybe identity, maybe other legal information, etc. And also maybe sometimes you need to finish the settlement off-chain. So that means you will use decentralized identity, decentralized data to link to this kind of new real assets. Maybe the NFT or the other kind of thing.
I mean, this is very interesting for me because if I understand this correctly, you know, what Ontology is trying to do, especially with OScore, is like a bridge. Right? You know, not just between blockchains, but between the real world and the blockchain world. Is that a good way of putting it?
Today, most assets in blockchain still is crypto assets. Actually, but you want to have a cover more large scope. The real assets, you have to do that.
Right.
That means real assets, most real assets is protected by the off-chain legal system in different countries, linked to the real owners. They have a different identity and a different nationality. So you have to those kind of protocol to build that.
So that's, you know, essentially what DeFi has done so far has been all on chain, right? But as it starts adding more assets in the real world to DeFi, it's going to need some sort of mechanism like OScore, you know, to validate them, right? And then to give people credit and to be able to move it on chain, right? Cool. You know, I know with Wing, another big launch that happened recently was the Ethereum version. Right. You know, for people that don't know this, I mean, most people watching probably know this. The majority of DeFi is currently built on Ethereum. You know, there are other blockchains that are expanding outside of that. Why was it so important for Wing to launch on Ethereum?
The two things is currently the most digital assets still on Ethereum. Ethereum is currently the largest digital assets ledger. Another thing is we want to prove, the finance, decentralized application, finally will become kind of cross-chain platform. The different public blockchain is just kind of ledgers. In the future, application level, no matter what kind of the assets be, which kind of ledgers, they can support all kinds of assets.
Interesting.
So we launch the Ethereum version, maybe next version we'll have a Binance version or the other kind of
BSC,
version. Finally they will link together. All assets can have the interaction each other, and all the credit information also can be controlled by itself. Sometimes you can integrate it, all kinds of information on chain, off chain, as your OScore, as your credit information. So that is
awesome.
important.
Okay, so I believe we have a video that explains the Ethereum launch for Wing as well. Let's watch that. Okay.
Wing Finance, the first credit-based lending platform, is officially coming to the Ethereum network. With it, users can lend or borrow in the Flash pool, or try the inclusive pool for credit-based lending on the Ontology version. The Flash pool also comes equipped with an insurance option for liquidations, a rare feature amongst DeFi projects. Multiple assets will also be added to Wing through this launch, including NFTs and off-chain asset classes through our partners such as stocks and real estate. Users can choose between the Ethereum version or swap their assets into P assets for the Ontology version to access lower gas fees and faster transactions. This will drastically increase the interoperability between the Ontology and Ethereum ecosystems. Try it out today by accessing Wing.finance through your browser or downloading the Onto Wallet app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
all right, we just watched this video on Wing. You know, one of the things that I personally really like about Wing is that it exists already. You know, people can go on the website, which is www.wing.finance. They can try out OScore. You know, they can make their own ONT ID. But going back to decentralized identity, you know, I think it's still a very hard thing for a lot of people to grasp. And, you know, I think this year with COVID, it was actually a really good example that you and I were discussing off air, which is, you know, you want to know whether or not somebody you interacted with has the virus, right? But obviously they want to protect their own identity. You know, they don't want to tell you their name, their health record, or even their location, right? But even if they own that data, you know, they can share access with public health records while protecting the sensitive information. Is that an example of how DID could work?
Yeah, of course. Currently, only check is most cases, especially public has the information already. I think is be overused. There's only one point they almost know you all kinds of information. A lot of information is not necessary. For example, they just want to confirm you have a virus or not, right? Even sometimes they just confirm what's your age, over 20 years old or not. So that means you can use decentralized identity to choose selective disclosure. That means I just answer the question yes or no, without disclose any other kind of unnecessary information. Even my name, I just if one I to access a building, I just I know. You don't know who am I and what kind of my background. But currently, it's not that. You know everything.
Right. You know, and I think you said a word there that I think is very interesting. You said confirming. Right. And as you said that, I just remember so many times everywhere people ask me just to double check, is this your passport? You know, is this your date of birth? Right. Just to confirm my identity. I think that's probably another really good application for DID.
DID, that means they just take the necessary information for you in different scenarios. For example, in the United States, sometimes you have to, if you want to buy a Wing, you have to over the 21 years old, right? In that time, but they need to verify your passport, almost your address, everything be there, just to buy a Wing or some.
When you're buying alcohol, you know, they look at your ID, right? They don't actually need to know your name or your state or your photo.
Next time you just use the decentralized identity application, just show, I'm over than 20 years old. 21 or not. Without anything.
And because it's on the blockchain, because it's on a public ledger, you know, it's immutable, right? And it's verified.
They can verify automatically and they can make sure it's true because it's technical. Have you support those kind of verification?
That would be great. It would save a lot of people a lot of time, you know, and embarrassment, right? Because sometimes your driver's photo doesn't look like you either. You know, you don't want to show them that. You know, I think especially in COVID times with health information, this is so vital because it's for the greater benefit of everybody to know if I've come in contact with somebody who has the virus, right? But I don't need to know their name. I don't need to know where they live, et cetera, you know? I know on Ontology, you guys have done another case study with Daimler Mobility, with digital identity and DID. Daimler Mobility is the parent company of Mercedes-Benz. Right? And you guys developed an app called Welcome Home.
It's Welcome Home is, we can call it as a decentralized application. That's the application to support those car owners to manage all the data in their car. Some maybe is their driving behaviors or other car condition or informations. All those information, the data are controlled by the owner, by themselves. That means they can authenticate this data maybe to the insurance company to provide some kinds of customized insurance product for you. Or even in the future, they can authenticate the data to some AI training company for the safe driving training or etc. or scientific research, etc. And you can get maybe its value from the data. Maybe the data is controlled by yourself. That means Daimler want to find the balance between the convenience and the privacy. That is quite hot topic in Europe, right?
It is, you know, and I think it's a very important topic. And this, when I was doing the research on what you guys did, I found it fascinating because it's a win-win, right? So essentially what the app does, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if I rented a car from Daimler, all my preferences would already be there, whether that's like the seat adjustments, the lighting, my driving habits, and as I drive, the data would be recorded, like the tread on the tires, or if I got into an accident, right? And that information is very important to Daimler and also third-party providers, right? But I can give them that information without them knowing that it was me, right? Do I understand that correctly?
Yes. This is also kind of a co-owner. Daimler owning private the devices and the data storage for you. It's kind of a service. But it means you are a controller for those kind of data. You even can use the data or certificate to the third part for different scenarios.
Right.
And
it's that ownership of the data, and then any revenue that comes from it, should then go to the person, right? I think this could be incredibly useful in so many other things. It's great that you guys have done this with Daimler. I'm sure there's going to be other partnerships that you guys look forward to in this year and next year as well, right?
Yes. And if Daimler's case already be done, we already prove this kind of concept can be used in the future, next stage. We will talk to more and more mobility companies and to like the mobile company. We can talk about how to support those kind of mechanism for the data in the different devices, even car, even the electronic devices, etc.
And hopefully to help you find more partners to test this with. We have a video that kind of outlines just the Daimler experience. And hopefully that'll give people a better understanding. So let's check that out.
Trust is built over time. Ontology is redefining trust through innovative technology.
Hello everyone! Today I'd like to show my car to you.
ONT ID recognized, smart lock enabled. The vehicle records the driver's history and current environment data. Decentralized connection storage helps the vehicle owner to generate benefits.
Hi Lisa, how are you?
Hi Daphne, do you want to watch the musical play Elvis this evening?
Yeah, I'll get the tickets for us, and you get the food.
No problem.
Bye-bye. Buy 2 tickets for the musical play Elvis this evening with ONT. Forward the ticket to Lisa. Oops! I almost had an accident. Hi guys, my car is available right now.
The app allows vehicle sharing and accepts requests for the vehicle automatically.
Alex has a high ONT score. I'm okay to lease my car to him. It's time for the musical play. Oops, accident.
The insurance claim is settled through a smart contract, and repair recommendations are shared with the vehicle owner.
Hello. The part for your right front headlight will arrive at the store in 2 days. Your vehicle can be repaired then. Thank you.
Analyze the traffic flow using blockchain and watch the traffic lights change according to the frequency of jam signals uploaded from the vehicle.
Initiate a giveaway request.
Through smart contracts, road permits may be traded and granted to a vehicle with a higher road priority. For vehicles utilizing Ontology, the decentralized ID and recorded data of the driver and the vehicle is unchangeable and remains under the independent management of the user. Trust is built over time. Ontology is redefining trust through innovative technology. Ontology.
All right, we're back with Li Jun, founder of Ontology, Consensus 2021. Thank you so much for taking the time today, first of all. I really do appreciate this. I wanted to quickly kind of just summarize what we've gone through today, because I know it's been a lot.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, the concept of decentralized identity is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Especially what you said at the end in terms of having it as a tool to be able to confirm your identity, whether that's at the liquor store, or when you go to the airport and they check your passport.
Yeah.
The fact that Ontology has worked already with somebody like Daimler to do this, I think is incredible. I look forward to the new partnerships you guys are going to do.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we kind of build out OScore, which is a feature that Ontology provides that is an on-chain credit mechanism, similar to off-chain credit scores.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that has already been applied with Wing Finance, which is a lending platform, obviously. And Wing has done so much incredible stuff, starting with the inclusive pool in December, where they use OScore as part of that.
Yeah.
So now people on Wing can borrow money with their credit, which is the first in DeFi, I believe. And then now they've launched the any pool and Ethereum version, and a Binance Smart Chain version is coming as well. 2021 has already been an incredible year for Ontology. You've covered so much already, not just with Wing, but also with the Onto wallet. And you have Saga coming out with the marketplace. So congratulations, first of all. I'm sure it's been exhausting, but very successful. What are some of the things that you are focusing on for the rest of the year and moving forward?
Okay. In the past 5 years in the whole industry, the whole scenario just focus on digital assets. Even DeFi also kinds of digital asset scenarios. But from this year, I believe a new trend will coming, especially, for example, NFT. Some NFT already linked to the real assets, linked to a real identity, linked to a real data, off-chain data, and the credit information, just what I mentioned, reputation system, mechanism, already be used in finance, in social application, social network, decentralized social network. So this year, Ontology will more focus on this points, just like we have done in the past 5 years. And decentralized identity, decentralized data, and reputation, credit information, and support all kinds of scenario. For example, the real assets management, and the reputation, on-chain and off-chain reputation integration, and also want to build more credit-based information, not only in finance, maybe it's a social network, maybe it's other kinds of interesting things, decentralized world. So that is Ontology more focused on.
Your identity is so broad, right? It really has changed so much. All that sounds really exciting, and if I understand correctly, what you're trying to say is, moving forward, you have already built such a great infrastructure on-chain, right? With Wing, with OScore, with the Ontology network. And moving forward, the goal is to really start bridging that with more off-chain, whether that's through partnerships, whether that's through assets, or social networks, even as you said, or even NFTs. That sounds really exciting. If people want to contact Ontology, how do they find you? Is it best through the website?
Yeah, they can to our website, ONT.io, and we'll find all kinds of social account, maybe a Twitter or all kinds.
I believe the Twitter is Ontology Network.
Ontology Network. You can follow us, and we welcome all kinds of partners. Maybe it's from a technical community or from enterprise, even from governments. We will provide all kinds of decentralized identity, data, and public chain service for the scenario.
Great. All right, Li Jun. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you, Stephen.
See you soon.